This conference will now be recorded.
And then my screen, I'm going to change presenter over to Jess, to you also. So you should see some kind of notice asking you if you want to do that.
It's asking me. Let me see. I have to download the extension. Sorry about that.
Okay, it looks like we can see your screen.
I can see it now.
I can see your screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Me too.
Seems to be an audio problem with her. With Jessica.
She's muted. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jessica, it looks like you're muted on your side.
Red button there. You can click on that right above the green chat circle. Unmute yourself. Yep. There you go.
Aha! Did I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We can hear you again.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, so what I was saying, what you couldn't hear is when you log into Revive, this is the screen that it comes up with. So I usually go straight to the inventory, the third tab here. And that will bring you to the list of advertisers. So if you wanted to start a new advertiser, you would do it from here. I was not going to do that for the ad I was going to place, but I can show you that real quick right now if you'd like. It's like one screen where you have to enter information.
Yeah, you can skip that part. Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to enter a house ad for our afternoon newsletter. So I'm going to click on NJBiz as the advertiser. And when you click on it, this is kind of the main screen that it'll bring you to create a new advertiser anyway. But now on the left-hand side, you can click on campaigns, and it'll show you the campaigns just for NJBiz. So I'm just going to add a new campaign.
So one quick question. Do you add a new campaign for like every single ad you post? Or do you
I do.
put them yeah, okay.
I do unless something is running in the same position in different newsletters. For instance, we tend to have a lot of open space in our real estate weekly and our healthcare weekly. So occasionally, if I'm filling those spaces with like house ads, or if for some reason a paid advertiser is running in the same position in both of those newsletters, I would put that in as one campaign, being they're both going to get linked to the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that does not typically happen. So this is going to be for the daily, and this is, just how I kind of label things. So you, Becca, and if anybody thinks there's a better way to do it, by all means, say so. But that's kind of just what I do.
Yeah.
You're going to select remnant. You're going to do your start and end dates. So I'm going to start it immediately. I'm going to end it at the end of the month. Your pricing model, you want to switch to tenancy. And that is all you will do on this screen. So you hit Save Changes.
I saw, Chris, if you don't mind me just asking a quick question.
Of course, no,
I saw
go for
in the training document that you sent, Chris, that was pretty much the same as if it weren't for a house advertiser, correct? Like for a paid ad,
That
correct?
goes for both.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
tenancy and everything. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's just setting up an ad in general, whether it's paid or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the ad I just set up, the campaign. So I'm going to click into it again. And I'm going to click on the second tab, which is linked zones. And this is for the first rectangle. So I'm in the daily newsletter. So I'm going to click that and just link it over here. And then I usually go back to campaign properties just so I can save changes. And then if you go back to campaigns, you'll see on the right-hand side here, it says add a new banner. I usually name the banners the same way. And then you'll upload the ad itself.
That's pretty much exactly how I name things, so it's good to know that we're both doing it pretty similarly.
On the same page.
Yeah.
And then your URL, which I just didn't grab, so let me do that real quick. Then you'll just put your URL in and hit Save Changes. And that's what I do to place the ads for the newsletters.
Sounds good.
Now, if you, not to jump too far ahead, but if you're able to go into the newsletter tool, well,
Yep.
let me back up real quick. So have you noticed that there's about a 20 to 30 minute wait for the ad to show up in the newsletter or anything like that?
Yes, but the wait is shorter than it actually was when I was working in Saxo Tech.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's still about 20 minutes,
so
you're thinking?
Yeah, I would say it's about 20 to 30 minutes.
So I don't want to jump ahead if Becca has any questions about this process. The other thing we had some conflicting input about you should link the zones at the banner level versus the campaign level. Then other people say link it at the campaign level versus the banner level. But you're always linking at the campaign level.
I had explicitly asked.
Working out fine.
Yeah, and I had explicitly asked Rob about that, and he told me to link it at the campaign level and not the banner level.
Right.
For whatever that's worth. Just figured I'd mention that.
So, do you know what the difference between doing that differently is? Or I should just go with campaign.
Yeah. If you're setting up a new campaign for every single ad, then you obviously could do that. And then I think what happens is if you do multiple ads within a campaign, then there's a chance that the banner settings could be different from the campaign settings. It's just a thing that the hierarchy, the banner will adopt the campaign if you do it from the campaign level, the start and end dates and the zone. So I think that's the reasoning. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't think of any other questions that I have. It seems pretty straightforward and similar to loading ads in other places or with other systems.
Yeah, I would say from my own experience, it's not so far removed from Saxo Tech. It's just kind of like you have to go to 3 different places to do the thing you would do in the one place there.
Sure. Yeah, right.
And then as far as, if you would, the newsletter tool in WordPress, if you preview it in the newsletter tool, are you able to see the ads already?
So in the newsletter tool, When you're working in the tool, you won't see the ads. Um,
Okay.
so this is kind of what it looks like when you're working in it. You'll see the spots where the ads default to, where they're supposed to be. And then, this is content, this is content. But once you preview the newsletter, you'll see the ads then, um, if it
Okay.
loads.
Mhm.
So you'll see your
All
ads.
right.
This is a text box ad, this gray box. And yeah, that one that we put in is not here yet, but you'll see them in the preview, just not when you're actually working in the tool itself.
And then, so that's what where we are at with CPBJ with the templates in the staging area. We want to get to the point where we can load some ads and see some ads here in the preview, and then we'll
Mhm.
know we're a little bit better off. But we're having a little bit of trouble. We'll get to the bottom of it. Um, so in that example there, you have an ad in that position that you just um, loaded. Do you go back in and deactivate that old ad, or change the dates on the campaign to make sure it doesn't conflict with that position, or
Oh,
how do you handle
well,
that type of
the
stuff?
the ad that I just put in was for an open position.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, I would
But then
never.
in general, when you're replacing ads, it's just usually it's the date range is what's dictating it on the campaign level.
Correct. Yeah, we sell by the month. So typically what I put, like the one I just put in will expire 3/31. So whatever would go into that spot next would just start on 4/1.
Right. Now, what have you had any issues at all with ads not showing or whatever reason, and were there any explanations of why at this point?
I haven't had any issues with ads not showing, particularly not recently. There were a couple. There was an instance, but I mean it was human error. I had tagged two things for one spot. I linked the wrong zone for one of the
Right.
ads. So that there's no real like alert for that. I mean, not that there should be an alert. I just shouldn't have done it. But because two things were tagged for the spot, when I looked at the test, what was supposed to be there was showing for me. But then when it sent out, some of the incorrect linked ads were shown outwardly. Does that make sense?
Right. Yep. Do you do? I see the text ad there. Do you have like a set of code template that you use, or do they sell
Yes.
those with
I
any of your newsletters?
That actually just got finished last week before Rob left, so I haven't done it yet. But I was provided code from him to put into Revive to populate that space. And I don't know if they have text box ads in Central Pen, but that is also a similar experience to that. Excuse me, to what I was
Okay.
doing in Saxotech. I was putting in
Oh,
code in Saxotech in order to run the text box ad there too.
yeah. I do that, and that's a good point. I didn't think about text box ads. Uh, and yeah, that's what I've been. We do sell quite a few text box ads, and yeah, I will type the ad in with code in Saxotech. So, are you
Jessica,
able
could you
to
send us
show us?
that sample code?
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh yeah,
say,
you could show
so
it to
I
us.
can send,
Yeah,
yeah, I can probably show it
or
to
even if you have one of
you,
those ads. So.
if I just can find it. I would also just mention, because, like I said, it was something that was just kind of, I'm not sure what I did with the code. Um, it, the text box ad was not built into our newsletter templates initially, so I would just confirm with Azentech that they are doing that for you, because
Okay.
that's part of the reason why it didn't happen until last week.
Okay.
And that the code for the text box ad is somewhere in my email. So if I could send that to you afterwards instead of making you guys watch me search through my inbox, that might be better if you don't mind. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. Yep.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is
Yeah.
how it works for NJ Biz. Should we have her look in what we have set up in Central Penn's Revive account, Dan, or which way you want to go?
I mean, it's set up the exact same way, and then obviously any changes we do on this presentation won't be reflected. So I think we just have to, narrow down that the zones are set up correctly in these templates, which I think it's a little hit or miss at the moment. So, I mean, we can double check if, yeah, she can look in the central pen if she likes. Yep, and we can kind of go over
if
that.
you wouldn't mind, Jessica, while we got you on the line, that would be great.
Sure.
Dan, when you say that it's kind of hit or miss right now, you just mean that Tech is still kind of working things out before we go
yeah,
live?
yeah. I mean, as far as what we're going to do is, or use NJ Biz since they're currently in the environment that you're moving to as the kind of the baseline that's working, and just make sure that the zones are set up correctly and CPPJ and everything, and go from there. So,
okay.
I do have one question. This is Randy. Yesterday we were having some debate as to the zone properties, setting it up as a banner or an email newsletter zone. Do you ever do any kind of editing of that zone type?
I'm sorry, could you say the beginning part again?
Yeah, we were having some discussion yesterday on the within the zone properties. So if I go into like a banner and
yes.
I click on that banner. Well, wait a second, how do I get there now? I go into a campaign. I'm looking right now at BioNJ, and if I look at how did I get there? I'm sorry.
Let me just say, Jessica, while he's doing that, I noticed that the logins you have doesn't work, so I'm going to send you another one. Just a second.
Oh, you know what? I think it's because I was still on the NJ Biz link. I don't know if that makes a difference. So I'm trying that now. Sorry, I think looking at it will help me.
Dan, can you elaborate a little more on what I'm talking about? Because it didn't look like she did anything with that, and I wanted to
actually generate the zone code. And so, like, when they generate the code for the zone, since it's on an email, they change the zone to an email, email zone, and then they pull the code and they put that code on the template. But then to actually make it active, return to active status in Revive, they put it back to banner. In order to actually, because if you leave it as email zone, it's no longer visible as an option when you go to set up the campaign. So at least that's what I've discovered. So since we're kind of new to the system,
clear on that then.
I think we're clear on that part of it. Yeah. So at least from what I've seen.
Okay.
The only way, basically what's happening is if you look at the invocation code, the default invocation code in a Revive, it does not match, what they're actually putting on the newsletter templates, because it's like async, it's for the web and everything else. So you have to actually change it to an email zone, pull the code, put that on the template, and then change it back to a banner. So I think we're somewhat clear on it. Yep.
Okay.
So that's the question I have is. I'm sorry, Dan, and I was only half paying attention because I was looking for that code for Jessica. But is that a problem that you ever have, Jessica? Is you save something as a newsletter banner and it should be an email banner, or the other way around?
I mean, I haven't had any. Yeah, I not to my knowledge, I haven't had any issues like that, I guess is. I mean, an email banner and a newsletter banner sounds like the same thing to me, and I don't post web ads in Revive. I still do those in DFP.
That's the difference. So yeah, okay. And again, I don't mean to confuse things. I mean, Dan, is that
No, that's fine.
is everything explained, Dan, to your satisfaction?
Yeah. Yep. So I think, yeah, that Ascentec test is where we have some creative, and then I think I'm going to probably revert back to, like you'd mentioned, that be a new campaign for every single position. So, and maybe even a new advertiser. But that's where, as far as their the demo creative, if you will, is all in there. So, in the Ascentec test environment or advertiser. Um, So I think Jessica still has the screen, so you want to just click in there, I guess. Campaigns.
If you just kind of look and see if everything looks set up like you normally do it.
Yeah. Okay. So that looks good. That looks fine.
And here's the issue: is I've got multiple banners in here, and I may just clear a lot of them out. But the only one that's active is the one that is linked to the. I think the daily top, the second one from the bottom is the one that's active. Just trying to get one ad position to show in the test environment we have.
Yeah, link to the top. I mean, this all looks correct to me, based upon what I've been doing. Aside from the fact that I've just been doing the one banner per campaign.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll probably just create a few more campaigns for each position. That seems to be the baseline. So, and then we'll work on double checking the zones in the CPBJ templates.
Now, Dan, is it possible? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we're going to try and get the daily showing of the ads in the newsletter tool preview area, and then we'll just keep moving on to the other ones. So.
Okay. So come Monday the 18th, our first day when we'll be using WordPress for the newsletters, will I have to load the ads that are set for? Will the ads already be in there, or will I have to put them in there?
Well, I would say we'd be glad to help you, but we were hoping that you could load those ads. I mean, take the creative from however you have them set up now, and create the advertisers and then the banners for each one of those advertisers. Once we, I guess, figure out this process and Dan has it down about how it should be done, because I don't want you to go through and set up a bunch of stuff that's wrong. But I mean, Dan, you can speak more to that about what the right process is for setting up an advertiser, setting up the banners and all that stuff. So I think we need to test this first one and make sure.
By this Friday, hopefully we'll have everything tested and we know that the ads are all pointed and they'll show an ad, and we'll clear all the test stuff out and make sure they're not, going to be pointing at the newsletter at the time. And then if you probably already have some of the ads because it's starting mid-month, and we can kind of go through setting them up. You can set up one yourself. We'll verify that it's showing, and then you can keep setting up the others. So.
Okay. So then maybe like throughout the week, next week, I'll gradually place the ads that should be in there come Monday the 18th, because we also sell for the month, so the stuff that's in there, that's in the newsletters now, will probably just be the same as what will have to be in there on Monday the 18th. So I can sort of divvy them up over a couple days next week.
Yeah.
If you think it'll all be ready to go.
Click on the zones over there. We can also double check with Becca that she's seeing placements for all the newsletters. Um, that's kind of a lot, but it's just to see if anything stands out.
Yeah.
Pretty small type, but
let me know when you would like me to scroll down.
Yeah, I'm just skimming.
Or I mean, I can make it smaller, but I don't know if it's. Yeah, that too, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what it looks like when you are trying to place a text ad. Um, can is it possible to do like an example, or to just at least go into the instance to see what it looks like?
There is one set up in here. It's probably not the correct code, but yeah, under campaigns
And most of that looks good to me. I didn't see anything that looked like out of place. But I'll have to look more closely.
yeah, and then I think the banners within the campaign.
This one here, right?
Bottom, with the text ad down there.
Text ad, okay.
And so this is probably not the format that you use. I just dumped it in here, but I guess the key points are, you can see where you've dropped the HTML code. Then you also have the size needs to match what the zone has. And so at least for what Accentic has set up, the size for this is 540 by 180. So when you do a new text ad, all of this will be blank, and so you have to paste the code in here, HTML,
Yeah.
and then you actually manually put in the width and the height, and then Jessica can confirm that's correct, how she's doing it. So.
I haven't done one yet.
Okay.
But to my knowledge of what was sent over, that's correct.
Okay. So right
we
now.
Can go through that when yeah.
Sorry. Right now I usually don't enter a size for the banner, so I guess if it is 540 by 180, that's just what I'll put in every time. And
yeah, when I put this one in, I didn't put a size in there, and it didn't show up as something I could pick a zone for. So the zone is sized to 540 by 180, and so you just have to put that in there, and then it'll show up as you can link that zone.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And usually our text ads are just straight up text.
Right.
This one has some art in there. So I would just put straight text HTML in that box,
okay,
right?
I thought easier for formatting. Yep. So.
And that's what ours is too. So and I'll send the code over once we get off the phone when I can find it. I get a lot of emails from Rob, so or I used to.
Right. All right, then that looks good to me. Thanks for going in and showing me that.
All right. Well, let me ask Dan, is there anything that we should be testing this morning in the Central Penn WordPress newsletter tool, or is it nothing we can test yet?
Well, now that we see that the ad should show when you preview it, we definitely can really, and you can look at the code as well. We'll zero in on that, make sure the zones are the Central Penn zones, and then go from there, and then get a Centec involved if we're still not seeing the ads. So.
Okay. Well, while we got everybody here, is there any further questions, anything I'm not asking, any kind of problems that you see yourself running into, Jessica, on a daily basis that's good to know about when you're trying to use this newsletter tool in Revive?
No, I mean, Revive is fine. The reporting's a lot better for me than it was when I had to use Acton when we switched from using ListTrack. I will say I really like the newsletter tool, and I liked the way I was building them in Saxotech. But there's something to look forward to for you, Becca.
Yeah.
It really makes things very flexible, which is nice. But other than that, I think Revive is fine. It's pretty straightforward, at least in my experience. And the transition from Saxotech and what we were doing there was not super difficult for me. So
Okay. Yeah. It
Great.
almost seems to me like a combination between what we were doing in Saxotech and also it's similar to DFP. So
yeah,
it seems like stuff that I've encountered before. So
All right, so let me just ask you, Dan. Next step for us is to, like you said, set up campaigns specifically for that daily newsletter to see if we can get the ad spots showing up and actually test it in the WordPress newsletter tool.
Yes. And then, as we test out each one, I can let Becca know, and like she says, she already has the ads. Then she can actually start pointing them or setting them up in Revive. But yeah, we don't want her to do that until it's we know it's working.
yeah, yeah. Just let me know.
Okay, great. Again, it's Wednesday, so we still got some time, and we got all of next week. But I just want to make sure that we get it all down because it seems like you got a lot of newsletters and obviously a lot of ad spots within those newsletters to cover. So, and at the same time, I know you're also going through UAT on your website. You're launching at that same time too. So I'm sure there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And Jessica, I appreciate your help a whole lot. I mean, I won't say that we won't reach out to you again, just maybe double check if we get something up and doing a test, maybe to get you to look over what we've done if we need to. So if you don't mind us asking again.
Of course. Any way I can be of assistance, please feel free to get in touch with me. That's not a problem.
Thanks a lot.
For all your help, Jessica. And
no problem.
Chris and Dan.
Thank you, guys. Dan, anything before we go?
Thanks for taking the time. No, just have a great day.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.